guys, my name is Shay, aka Stitchopotamus, here on YouTube, and this is my 19th, I believe, Flosstube. This is the second time I've done this, because as per usual, last time I did a video, same thing happened, but as per usual, the new camera I bought to make this a more pleasurable experience for you keeps corrupting files, so I gotta figure out what that's about. I don't really know a whole bunch about cameras, digital or otherwise, so I will go figure that out and see if I can't redo it. However, if I don't do this video today, I'm not going to do it tomorrow, I can guarantee it. As you can probably hear, have not been feeling the best. Our allergies here in South Texas have given me a sinus infection, so I have a bit more of a blues club voice today. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's not a good thing. But I figured if I don't do this now, I ain't doing it tomorrow. So, doing it today. Doing it now. Sometimes maybe this is just the best way to do it anyways. I don't know. We'll see. I'm really sad because I did want to use that camera, but it don't work. So, today is a Flosstube. We're going to do all the normal Flosstube-y things. First off, I've tried catching up on Flosstubes. I've had some stuff going on, so I need to go back and watch some of the Flosstubes I've already started and finish them, or restart them technically, I guess, so I can make sure I actually pay attention this time. On top of that, I've recently started watching Georgia Marie. She has Midweek Mysteries, where she covers unsolved cases, disappearances, mysterious murders, that kind of thing, mysterious deaths, I guess. And I really have enjoyed it. I've been watching it today, or watching her rather today. I really have enjoyed it. It's something I can do cross-stitch comfortably while watching without it being too big of a difficulty. There's not a whole bunch of stuff other than, watching her talk. There's not a lot of graphics or words or stuff on the screen, so I can pay attention. Pay attention to my stitching and pay attention to her talking. One of the things I've really been into recently, I think I've talked about it before, is just foreign film and foreign TV. I was really big into K-dramas for a bit there, and recently I've started watching a lot of European, detective, murder, true crime type stuff. Not true crime, but crime TV shows and such. And sometimes the dubbing on those is really difficult for me to listen to. It's really bad. Not bad, it's just not my favorite. But if I tried to watch it in its original language, which is what I would prefer to do, I can't cross-stitch at the same time. And I tend to want to do something even while I'm with my hands, even while I'm watching TV. So, that being said, I've been really into Georgia Marie today, and we'll continue to watch because she's got 220 something videos in this playlist, which will give me plenty to watch. And then maybe I'll go and rewatch some of my other true crime YouTube stuff that I've watched in the past. Nothing too major in terms of how I stitch. However, there has been a major change. I'm going to make it so I can share this with you. Hopefully, I'm doing this on my iPad, and Google Sheets and my iPad don't always get along. So hopefully this lets me do a little bit and show you, right? The only thing major about how I stitch that's changed is I'm now tracking my stitching using the Extended Cross Stitch Planner for 400 Projects by Rainbow Sheets Studio. I'll put all the website info in my box below. This has been kind of fun. So I pretty much started this the day after I posted a video, or the day that I posted a video. So I only have a couple weeks of data, if you will. I love data. I'm not very good at math sometimes, but I do love data. And I love that I can track everything, and I've been able to tweak this program a little bit, or this Google spreadsheet a little bit, to kind of help me, track sales more consistently for myself. But you can see it here. This is the main kind of sheet or worksheet that I use, right? This is just the project tracker. So I have all my projects here. All of my, you can't really see because I don't have a scroll, like a mouse, but all of my total stitches, I'll try to draw a picture or a circle around it. All of my total stitches, for most part, unless it is like Cactus Garden Snail is just a project. It's not like a SAL. So that stitch count is true for how many stitches are in that project. But Colourpop Blackwork SAL only has 288 stitches on, nope, 2,388 stitches. That's going to be much more stitches by the time it's done. That's how many stitches are currently released. And that's how I decided to do it. So at first I was trying to like calculate how many stitches it would be, using generally the size, because that was the only available information I had, unless there was something else on there. But what I decided to do, and what has been really helpful for me, is I just put the total stitches that are on there, that are available now, that are released now. And I do that through using Markup XP, right? So I just upload the new release, because I would do it anyways, right, for most of these projects. I upload the new release, and then I just use that total to change the total on this tracker, which has been really helpful. I also added, this didn't come in the original, but I added a caught up category so that I could manage things like, the only one that's caught up right now is Colourpop Blackwork Style, because it's the only one that is actually caught up. That way I can look and see, okay, I don't have to worry about that one. I don't have to worry about this one. This is the one I have to worry about, which right now I have to worry about everything, but that's fine. You can see down here, Tea Garden and Burrow Tales are my two newest ones. Tea Garden is by WorldOnAStringByDara. She's already released 2 of the dragons. So the tiny little dragons are like 40 stitches by 40 stitches. You're looking at maybe like less than 400 stitches per dragon. I want to say altogether the 2 that are released are 740 stitches. So I can do that easy peasy, not a big deal. Probably try to keep up with that here soon. And I'll show you some more stuff about that because I got some fabric for it. Then I also got Burrow Tales. Burrow Tales is by Quarternion Creations, and it has its first release out. So its first release is 1,304 stitches. And so yeah, that's how I've been doing it. You'll see that the only one that has negative days left is Moon Garden, because Moon Garden is the only one, Moon Garden is the only one that is technically finished. Everything has been released. So I'm able to do that, and then I'm able to use these calendars here, and hopefully I don't crash this, because I can. I use these calendars here to track how many stitches I'm doing. And if you guys like stats, if stats is something that's really interesting for you, leave me a comment and let me know, because I can always put stats down here. But as you can see, I was sick this week somewhat, so even during the beginning of the week I was able to do a lot more stitches because I went home sick. I stayed home sick on Tuesday. But the one thing that I've kind of not, I would have known to assume this was going to happen, I guess is the best way to say it. But what I assume happens in how this works, I should say, is that it averages out your number of stitches, so your daily number of stitches, and it assigns a color and some sort of gradient, right? If that makes sense. So if you had good stitch count that day, then you get green. If you and so on and so forth. However, when I first started it on 2 Sundays ago, I went in and just put in everything that was already done, right? So for instance, it says that I did 1,500 something stitches on Sunday the 13th. There's no way in hell I did 1,600 stitches. I usually can I can maybe push 1,500 stitches. There's no way, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. 15,000 stitches. There's no way I did 15,000 stitches in one day. I can normally do 1,500 if I push it. And I don't do anything, and that's not true. I could probably get more than that if I'm sitting there and able to focus, but I probably average 1,500 on a good day. But so now my worry, I guess, if you want to say it that way, is that it thinks that I can really do 15,000 stitches in a day, and now every time I even do 1,000 stitches, it's gonna just be mid, and so I don't know. It's not a big of a deal. I don't know if it'll change itself as it goes, like if it will kind of adjust or what. But right now my April looks real freaking good, because right now April has, according to this, I've done 65,000 stitches. 65,000, which is obviously, for me, not anywhere near possible. I don't think it's possible for anyone, because I'm pretty fast. I don't think that's possible for anyone. So I don't know if that will clear itself up. I don't even know if what I'm saying is making any sense. But yeah, so that's this. There's other, I don't know if I try to see all the other little tabs, if it will freak out on me. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. So hopefully this doesn't freeze. But there's also a calendar where you can see calendars with all, like, the monthly, like, entries almost, if you want to say it that way. So this is kind of fun. I haven't really used a timeline. I think the timeline tab is probably only, like, the only time I would use it, I think, is probably if I'm doing some sort of WhipGo board, which I haven't done a WhipGo board. I thought about it, but to be honest, it's not the way I stitch anyways. I don't tend to jump from one project to the same project, to another project rather, in the same day. I tend to catch up on quarter crows and move on to another style, right? Or move on to another project at the very least. But I would suppose that I could probably use this timeline if I was thinking of it that way. Summary at the end of the year is going to be super helpful, because summary at the end of the year means that I can use that when I do like a whip parade, rather, maybe like a whip and a finish parade, probably at the end of the year, or even in June. Maybe we can use that a little bit. I haven't used a DMC inventory tab because I use Threadalog for that, and I'm not changing that because I really like my Threadalog. I have not needed to use Anchor in DMC. And then there's a little design tab where it gives you some grid, but I don't foresee myself using that either. But Anchor to DMC, I don't tend to use Anchor, so that's probably not going to be super helpful. Yeah, so there we go. That's what we got. So I'm sure this will be helpful later, but my April looks real freaking impressive, but I promise I'm not that fast. That's like anime godlike tier, and that's not where I'm at with my life. So that's the only thing different about how I personally am stitching. The other thing that's different and very exciting to talk about is I created a spreadsheet for mystery cells. Yay! For the longest time, I was just relying on, like, my phone to track things, like pictures on my phone, snap screenshots on my phone to track things. And that's not very, very productive and very helpful for me, and made my life a lot harder. So I'm still hoping to do a lot more of those, like, Instagram and Blue Sky posts about different cells, and do them more consistently than I have been. This should help me do it. I've also shared this, right? So there's a link for this on my Blue Sky and on my Instagram, and I'll probably put a link in my bio here as well. And that way you guys can, anyone who wants to access it can access it. This is all the information I have about these cells, right? And all the cells that I know of that are currently active or have been announced, right? Because there's one like cats and plants. Cats and plants is not going to start until next year, but it's been announced, and so I can add it in here. I've even put in a little spot for notes. I put in a little spot for web addresses. So if it's sold off a website that's not like Etsy or Patreon, or the two big ones, then I put the website here, so you can just click on it. On that note, some things to be aware of when it comes to cells. So cells that are going to be ending here soon are Moon Garden technically released its last portion of the pattern for ease of language, which language is never easy for me. If this is really choppy in places, it's because I'm stopping to sneeze and or cough. Moon Garden released its last part of the pattern on Friday. So that one is technically complete. It is not finished on my end. I have not finished it. I hope to finish it this week. So that one's going to be finishing here soon. Secret Grove will be finishing here at the end of this week. I also need to catch up on that one, so that one's not behind, or that one I can finish. I think those are the only two big ones that are ending soon. Ending. No, there's one more. Positivity Blooms by Caterpillar Cross Stitch is ending this week, or beginning of next week, I think. I think those are the only ones that were ending. See, this is so much easier than it has been in the past. So Secret Grove, Moon Garden, and Positivity Blooms. And then starting, or have started recently, Book of the Poison Garden. Oh, I almost missed one. House of the Book of Dragons is also going to be ending at the end of the week. So there's 4 that are ending at the end of the week. House of the Book of Dragons, Moon Garden, Secret Grove, and Positivity Blooms. And then ending, or starting soon, or starting recently or soon, is going to be Burrow Tail. Started last week, which I'm very excited to talk about. Oh, I guess I could talk about that now. I'm really excited that Quarternion, when she released it this time, or released this one. So, I'm saying this all kinds of weird ways, but when she released Forest Fairy Tale, she did the frame first, which wasn't a lot of stitches. It was probably like 4,000 stitches or something like that. But it was a lot of counting, and I'm not always great at counting, despite, 20 years of doing this hobby called counted cross stitch. So this time she just released the first little box, the first little corner. And so that's going to be a lot easier for me to manage and maintain. But I'm super excited that it's out and ready to go. Birthday Botanical by Caterpillar Cross Stitch also started, not this last week, but the week before. In between now and the last video I sent out. Tea Dragons I hadn't added onto here. We'll talk about some of the ones I haven't added just real quick, because there's a couple that I haven't added, like I missed. One more that might be ending here soon. Well, I think Nostalgic Tarot might be ending in the next couple months. I want to say I tentatively forecasted that it would end the 1st of July. So in a month, or 2 months technically. So I don't have to talk about that one yet, but I do think it's going to be ending soon unless my math is incorrect, which it very well could be. So Burrow Tales started, Birthday Botanical started, Book of the Poison Garden started in the past little bit, and I think those are the 3 big ones that have started. Things to keep an eye on is, if you're doing Nostalgic Tarot, right, just being aware that you probably have 2 months around about, maybe 3 months, till that one's done, and that one's massive, so if you're behind, you are behind, because it is huge. Each card, I think, is probably here. Like, I bought like a full yard of fabric for it and never started it, which is good. I have a full yard of chalkboard linen, and maybe I'll use it one day. I think it was even small linen too, because I don't use 40 count, and I think I had to get super small for it to be able to fit on just a reasonable amount of fabric. Anyways, not the point. It's huge. If you haven't done it, you might want to wait until it's just fully released and you can do it in your own time. So I think that one's going to be done soon. I think those are the only ones. And then, so the ones that to be aware of, that's what I was saying. Okay, so yes, be aware of Nostalgic Tarot. Now, 3 that I had missed, that I had not put on here before, or not said anything about before. Tea Dragons by WorldOnAStringByDara. WorldOnAStringByDara. 5 little or 6 little dragons. Like I said, they're only about 40 inches by 40 inches. Oh, that's not small. 40 stitches by 40 stitches. So they're itsy bitsy little ornaments, right? She recommended that you put them on perforated paper. I've tried perforated paper for like 5 minutes and decided I didn't like it. That's how everything in my life is. I decided after trying it for 5 minutes for funsies. And so I instead grabbed some fabric for it. So I'll show you that in a little bit. It's not like fancy fabric. Well, I guess it is kind of fancy fabric. It's not like hand dyed, but I'll show you. So I bought some fabric for it, and hopefully that will work. So Tea Dragon is available on WorldOnAStringByDara's website. And there's a little, like, it's not a kit, it's like a little extras box, which I actually bought, so I'll show you that as well. Available on our website as well for this. Next we have Madiera Blues. I'm pretty sure I'm saying Madiera correctly. I don't drink Madiera, but I'm pretty sure Madiera is like a fancy wine. I'm probably completely incorrect about that. But Madiera Blues by Tempting Tangles is available on her website. She does a lot of sals. And I see her every so often. I see her post on, I had created a, what are they called? On Blue Sky, you can create like a feed. It's not called a feed. I can't remember what it's called right now. Maybe it is called a feed and I just don't know. But you can create a feed. And so I created one for stitch-alongs, right? And so every so often I see her post and my feed will like grab it and filter it into this like feed, right? And so I've seen her post a couple different times, that I've always always catch like the end of a Sal post. This one I caught late rather, but it's not over. So it's Madiera Blues by Tempting Tangles. You can go to her website. I want to say she's out of Europe. I can't remember exactly where out of Europe. But she has some kits. She has a lot of like information about how she does sals. There's might be some differences in how she releases sals. I don't know. I looked through her website, but I was looking more for just information about this sal. So Madiera Blues. A lot of her sals tend to be geometric, tend to be kind of like monochrome, that kind of vibe, which is cool. It's pretty. And then Stitcher's Book Club by Cloud Factory, also out of the UK, or out of Europe, not the UK necessarily, but out of Europe. There is a kit available, and there is specific hand-dyed fabric, but I don't know how much of that is available on the website anymore. It's by Cloud Factory. I don't know if I said that. It started at the beginning of the year, it's going through the end of the year, and it's a monthly release, it seems, I'm pretty sure. And each little release is like books that are themed by authors, and then like little tchotchke stuff that goes with that. So those are 3 that I missed, and one of which I'm doing myself. So that's all the Stitch Along news as of right now, I think. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to stop that recording so that I can pull up this if I need it. Alrighty. So let's do whips. I got a lot of stitching done on some stuff that I had been putting off. So I'm very excited to see some of this kind of coming up. I am behind on everything because that's just my life, because I do too many sals. But first off, this is my, make sure you can see. First off, this is my, one of my 2 year-long sal, Blackwork sals by Steady Thread. And this is the floral one. She doesn't call it the floral one, but I call it the floral one because all of these are like little flowers in circles. So these are my floral ones. My most recent ones, I'm pretty sure, are these 2, right? And I like these 2 a lot because I like how the variegation lined up. It looks really pretty. It worked out really, really well. And I'm not even sure how I did it. I just did it very specifically. and then erased the method from my mind as per usual. The fabric is Grail by Witchy Crafts. It's an even weave, 28 count even weave. And the thread is Medieval by Stitchy Stuff, which I found on Etsy. And for this one, this is one of the few ones that I have a hard time kind of tracking or deciding how many stitches I have, because if I look at, I have a hard time deciding how many stitches I have for each release, right? Because to be honest, I'm not going to go through and count how many stitches are in each one of these little circles, because it's Blackwork. It's not stitches that are cross stitches that are easy to count. It's little individual lines, right? Which that would take me forever, and I'm not doing it. And if I do, so what I ended up doing, I think, actually, I was going to say if I do, but I think I actually did it, is I just multiplied, adult English, multiplied the size, which I think for this one was 138 by 138. I have it right here, 138 by 138. So I just multiplied it, and then I divided it by how many different releases technically we have. So I counted the frame, even though technically the frame is a lot more stitches than each release. That way I can kind of keep in mind how many I'm, like, how far ahead I am, or how, like, not far ahead, but how caught up I am, and I'm still adding in stitches as I need to. So I actually know that the one that I had in my, I need to update my stitch count for the past couple weeks. But that's how I've been doing it. That's how I did it for this one and this one as well, for both types of this one. Is I just multiplied the size by this, like the stitch count, and I'm just ballparking it. So it looks like I do a lot every time I do one, because it's like, I don't know. I don't know exactly how many. I don't have time to tell you how many. What am I doing? What else am I doing with my life? That's how I did it. I don't remember how many stitches were per release. And I'm not going to calculate it out to find out. Maybe I'll do it in post. But anyways, Grail by Witch's Garden Crafts, Even Weave, and Medieval, which I think is, I didn't even realize this. I don't know if I've mentioned it, because I don't think I've realized it before. That's really ironic, that the thread is called Medieval and the fabric is called Grail. That works out well. I didn't even know that. I remember picking this fabric because it was less mottled than some of my other Witch's Garden Crafts even weaves. And I wanted the less mottled fabric with the more variegated thread. But I didn't realize that that was ironic. I don't know if anyone else thinks that's ironic. I think that's ironic. So anyways, floral steady thread sal, or the geometric version of the steady thread, rather, year-long sal. These are the two most recent. This one was really difficult for me for whatever reason, because it just was hard to wrap my head around. It didn't feel as intuitive as some, like this is super intuitive. All the stitches are going to lead to the next stitch, and it makes total sense. So it's easy to do. I can do it without really thinking through much once I get the pattern right. This is super intuitive. That is super intuitive, right? But this one just felt like it was like off, but it wasn't really off. And then I think it's maybe just because it's like a, I don't know, I don't know how to call them, but like you have, obviously we're doing this in blocks, right? So you have a stitch that goes from one block to one block, right? Where it's a square, right? Or you have stitches, I'm not saying this correctly. You have stitches that are square, right? Like these guys, right? Where it is in intervals of 1 over 1, or 2 over 2, or 3 over 3. Whereas these ones are all the 2 by 1, or 1 by 2 stitches. If that makes any sense at all, let me know. But this one, for whatever reason, was counterintuitive and took me forever to do. I had to keep ripping it out and fixing it. This fabric is Antique Daguerreotype Even Weave by Witchy Garden Crafts, and the thread is black / gray silk by Dyeing for Cross Stitch. And it is not caught up. They're both of these are about 2 weeks behind. About 2 weeks behind. Which is, it tends to be how that works anyways. So, I tend to do them in sets of 2, I guess. I don't know. This is most of it. This is my lunar phases temperature sal by Tiny Stitchery. It is about 2 weeks behind as well. I tend to do the steady thread and the temperature sals and Court of Crows all in the same day. Like I tend to do those on the weekend, and they tend to happen all on the same day. So they tend to be the same amount behind, because they're so quick. I can do them really quickly, but I don't keep up with them because there's so many things. Like I would rather stitch 6,000 stitches and get them done than do 300 stitches and put off the 6,000 stitches, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you can see we're warming up here in San Antonio. This is what I always say when we start talking about my temperature sals. Originally I thought I was going to have to track these the same way I tracked the Blackwork sals, but I actually ended up putting these charts into Markup XP, and so I actually have these correctly laid out, right? I actually know how many stitches I'm stitching each time I do this, which is kind of helpful and kind of cool, because it doesn't seem like it's a lot of stitching, but like if I have to do 2 weeks of these, that's probably, 200 stitches, 300 stitches, 400 stitches, something like that. Depending on how many I have to do. So, not caught up. I have to do the end of April and start of May, and I need to do the Blackwork, or like the back stitch rather, here for the months, which you probably can't even see from the camera angle. But this is one of 2 fabrics I have that I can't remember what they're called. I know one of them is called Vintage Rose. The other one's probably Vintage Blush. They're both by Forbidden Fiber Co. They are both 32 count linens. One of them is Vintage Rose. The other one's like Vintage Peach or Vintage Blush or something, and I don't know. I have written down that my Fair Isle temp sal, which I'll show you in a second, is on Vintage Rose, but I don't know if I'm telling the truth. I don't know. I lost one of the cards. It is what it is. It be that way sometimes. Lunar Phases Temperature Sal by Tiny Stitchery. Speaking of temperature sals and Vintage Rose fabric, which I'm pretty sure this one's Vintage Rose. It just makes sense that would be Vintage Rose. And maybe the other one's Vintage Peach or Vintage Blush or something. I don't know. This one is, my Fair Isle is what I call it, but I don't know if that's actually what it's called. But my Fair Isle Temperature Sal, this is by Snarky and Modern Embroidery. And it is the same amount of behind as all the other ones, as the last 3 that I showed you. About 2 weeks behind. I like this one a little bit more in terms... No, that's not true. I like how, consistent this one is in terms of, how many stitches I'm doing. I like that I'm tracking the moon I dig it. I'm a little bit witchy. I dig it. I like the colors of this one a bit more because I went through and actually adjusted the color scale to be more reflective and to give me more variation based on Texas weather, right? So this one, every color, like each 10-degree block has its own color. So that's why it doesn't have huge amounts of variegation, because, you know, we were in whatever, I think that's probably super, like these are probably 70s, right? So all of these orange is 70. So we were in the 70s at some, you know, for all of these average, right? Whereas that is much more variation, much more, you almost got like a kind of an ombre effect some of the weeks, some of the days. So I like the colors of that more. When I do this one next time I do, like next year, if I do another lunar phases style, I'm probably going to split up the colors a little bit more and make it a bit more variegated, because I think it'd just be prettier. I think it would just be prettier and more interesting. So, Fair Isle Temperature Sal by Snarky and Modern Embroidery, and you can find it for free on Facebook. And it's about 2 weeks behind. Again, I do this one at the same time I do the other ones, because they're pretty quick. So the only thing I have left to do is, I want to say he was called a vizier, which is a fancy Middle Eastern, Central Asian word for, like, you know, a court, like a high court advisor, right? So I want to say he was called a vizier, or maybe it was something similar to that. I don't freaking know. I'll look it up for you just to find out. Actually, I already deleted it, didn't I? Yeah, I already deleted it. Okay. Sorry. Never mind. Doesn't matter. So anyways, I have this little guy and this little frame to do, and then I have to do the flame on this torch. All in all, about 400 stitches. I can put it off for a little bit longer and do it all at once. So that one's, oh, I didn't even say. I probably didn't say. Sorry. I'm fading fast, I think. Fading fast. So I have to do this and this. I did this last time, or since the last time I've seen you. I did this one, and I did the roses here, which these are supposed to be kind of like wicked flowers, or kind of ominous flowers is what they're called, as opposed to these like happy pretty flowers. I don't know. They look the same. I don't know what makes them ominous, but they are ominous according to Fine Frog. But I did this guy, this claw, and the bottom of this banner, and then these little flowers here. Again, I think this was actually slightly bigger than this guy will be, probably about 500 stitches, maybe 600. Not a whole bunch. It's on Cacao by Witch's Garden Crafts, and that's that one. That one's not caught up. It's about 2 weeks behind. This is what I've been working on for the past little bit, what I worked on today. This is the Extraordinary Birds frame. Yay! It's almost done. I have a couple of bit more stitches here, and then I have to find the thread color for this one. It's 783. I had it written down that I had it on one of my shared thread keeps, but I don't have it on one of my shared thread keeps. So I need to figure out where it is. It's hopefully still on the Mythical Creatures cell thread keep, and I just forgot to bring it over. That's my assumption. That's the only thing that makes sense to me, because it's just missing completely off my thread keep. I didn't leave a home for it either. So anyways, I'll find out. It's here. If it's not there, then I have another skein of it, and I'll just pull it out and cut it. So I'm under 200 stitches done. I'll have this done tonight, hopefully. If not early tomorrow, I'll have it done. And then I have to do the back stitching. But back stitching is, I think, only on the birds. So it should be pretty easy. And then it will be caught up. And I think I've got a couple weeks before the first, they're called feet, but the first bird is released outside of these two birds. This one is, I've been calling Murder Parrot in my head, but technically it is a Pesquet's parrot. I think I'm saying that correctly. It's cool as fuck. It looks super cool. It is a very bloody crow looking parrot. It almost looks a little bit like a vulture, but it doesn't. It's not. I don't know. It's called a Pesquet's parrot. I've been calling it Murder Parrot in my head. That's apparently incorrect. And I like how she did kind of like, this is meant to be glass encased, I'm assuming, right? And so you have almost this kind of like, look, this is where not look, I don't know why I said look, but this is kind of meant to insinuate that this is where the post on the other side of the of the aviary would be. So I like the way that looks. I think I was kind of like not weirded out by it, but I was kind of like, why is that there? And then I finished it, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. It looks really cool. This is Sandbar by Bestitch Me, and I believe 32 count linen. Yep, 32 count linen by Bestitch Me. I have news about Bestitch Me when I tell you about my stash. But this is almost done. This is within 200 stitches, and I'm very excited. I just have a little bit left here, and then the lighter yellow, lighter brass color that goes in that spot. Yep. I love it. I'm very excited. I've always, I need to do the sals that I didn't realize existed when I was like the greenhouse and the library sal. I need to do those. Go back and do those because they're super cute. And I wasn't like stitching sals when they were released, or I would have done them. This is the first part. Sorry, I don't know why I turned so dramatically. This is the first part of Cuckoo Clock by Tiny Modernist, and I did it on time. It was about 3,000 stitches. Did I put the old one in there? No, now I'm up to 8,900 stitches, 8,977 stitches, but the original one was 4,318 stitches. So that's actually a lot more stitches than I thought it is. I don't know why I think it's only 200. I'm pleasantly surprised by this sal. I was not sure I would like this fabric. This fabric is Cheryl's Wood Grain by Fabric Flare. At first it was very stiff. Once I started working with it, obviously it loosened up and I was much happier with it. It was much easier for me to stitch because I stitch in hand once it started to loosen up. I was really worried because when I first started doing, I started with this light pink in the middle. It's 819, I think, DMC 819. And I could see the wood grain in the fabric behind it, and I wasn't so sure I was going to like it. But once everything was put in, once I did all the back stitching, once all that was done, I actually really like it. I really like it. I like this goat. I like this goose. I like the face. I thought the face might be a bit creepy, but it isn't. It's cute. I dig it. The next part is up here. It's like the roof of this cuckoo clock, if you want to say it that way, and it's all teal. And there's like a girl in there and some other little leaves and such. I'm sure there's other little animals maybe. I'm super excited. It's super cute, and it's done on time. I was like, hell yeah. I finished it on time, and I like the fabric more than I thought I would. I don't know. I like it. I dig it a lot. So that's all of my works in progress. And let's talk fun stash news before I do my actual stash. So I went ahead and ordered the fabric of the month from Bestitch Me. I ordered the one that was both the fun fancy colors and the neutrals. And I think from my understanding, you get 1 month is neutral, 1 month is fancy, like brights. I don't know if I'm correct in that or if I'm getting, I don't think I'm getting two. Because it's the same price, I assume. But anyways, I ordered that. I'm very excited. I think I ordered it in even weave, which will be exciting because I really like even weave. And I ordered the Bestitch Me Silk of the Month thread floss. So I'm very excited about that as well. I don't use a lot of silk. As you see, there's only one project that has any silk. And I want to collect more silk, even though I don't use it very consistently because that's the way I am. Don't harsh my vibe. And yeah, I'm excited. It'll be fun. I'll show you that when it comes in. So, stash. So, first off, this isn't traditional stash. This is just from Michael's. By traditional, I mean it's like not like an Etsy shop or like a fun cross-stitching shop stash. It is just Michael's. So again, I'm going to start the Tea Dragon Sal by WorldOnAStringByDara, and she did it on perforated paper. Again, I've tried perforated paper exactly once for like 5 minutes, didn't dig it, so I decided I was going to do it on Aida, and I was like, I can probably just do it on white Aida. I've got plenty of white Aida, like white craft store Aida lying around. But then I remembered that these fun colors are over at Michael's, and so I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use these fun colors, and that's what I'm going to do. So I got each of the three colors, and I got each of the three colors, and I did 2 of each color. So I'm sure I can fit all 5 or 6 of these dragons on like one roll of each of these colors. I'm sure I won't even use all of it. But I decided I was going to go ahead and grab the extra ones just in case I need it, and I had a coupon at Michael's. So I got these guys. They don't have names. There's no fancy names. I just got the purpley pink one. I got the bluish one, and I got the yellowy orangey one. And I think that will work very well. Very well. Because when in the instructions packet for the SAL, WorldOnAStringByDara talks about different colors of perforated paper, and so like each dragon, there's a couple that share colors, but each dragon is pretty much on like its own color, right? This is my fabric of the month. This is Robin by Witch's Garden Crafts. I get a 16 count Ada quarter or eighth stitches 1/8 yard. Love it. It's a very spooky red. I dig it a lot. When I think of Robin in summer, I think of bright red, but I love that this is so spooky and cool. So I'll have to try to find something to use this for. Very pretty, very pretty. I got these things. So I'd already ordered these, and I've actually already shown you a couple of these things. So back when all the Nashville Market releases were coming out, I ordered, I probably should make sure I don't show you that, but I ordered a couple of patterns I've already shown you, and I ordered these thread floss packs by Threadworks through my local needle workshop, which is Under the Sea Fabrics, right? And I'm sorry, we ran out of the thread packs, which is not a big deal. I'm not using them currently right now, and so they ordered some more of those. And I thought that I must have forgotten to order these, or thought I'd ordered them and not ordered them. So I ended up ordering these 2 patterns on 123 Stitch later, right? And then I must have actually ordered them. So now I have 2 of these patterns. I have 2 Moonlit Moths by Counting Puddles and 2 Twilight Moons by Tiny Modernist. I'll find something to do with these. Maybe I will do a giveaway. I don't know. I've never done a giveaway before, but if that's something that someone might want, maybe we can do that. So I got extras of those because I'd already ordered them again because I thought I hadn't ordered them before. Anyways, and then I got these guys came in. These are the 20-yard skeins of the Night Garden thread palette. I was doing so good, and now I'm coughing up a storm again. But anyways, I'd already ordered these. I'd already bought these, but they just came in. We had to get some new ones because they ran out. And they're very pretty. They're very pretty, and I think they almost have a little bit of, no, they're cotton. So they almost have a little bit of sheen like silk, but no, they're cotton. Very pretty, very pretty. So I got those. I have also restarted my, you know what, this is what I'll do. I restarted my Simply Norel Project Bag of the Month subscription or club. And so I love Simply Norel's bags. Most of the project bags I use consistently are Simply Norel. And so I went ahead and ordered a fun, funky one that wasn't part of a subscription. It was just fun and funky. So this is the smaller of the 2 sizes she does. I loved it. I love cacti. I have another cacti bag somewhere that I showed you guys a couple weeks ago, a couple videos ago. Love it. Just bought it because I wanted to buy something from her because I love her. She's sweet. And then these are my 2 project bags of the month. So this is Simply Norel's Simply Norel. I'm reading her tag. This is the project bag I think from March. It's cute. It's got a little woodland themed. And I think I have my fabric for House of the Book of the Dragon in here. So there's that one. She always sends them with a matching floss color and some yummy goodies like Swiss Miss. I think she sends tea to people because she's out of Australia. So I think she sends tea to people in Australia or in countries where they allow that. For whatever reason, maybe the States doesn't. And so I get Swiss Miss, which is good. I like Swiss Miss. It also comes with a downloadable pattern that matches it. So this is a little fun, funky fox and a matching floss, skein of floss. So there's March. And then this one would have been May. No, not May. So this is May. April. April came with this really pretty Delilah pattern and this really pretty pink, which I think I use that pink in something right now, so that's good. And then also, just because I know it's in here, I also got a Stitch's quarter of, a fat quarter rather, of Sarah's by Under the Sea Fabrics. This is going to be from my Burrow Tales Sal, because when the Burrow Tales instructions came out, it said that this is the called for fabric, and this is my local needle workshop, my LNS, and so I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll buy some more fabric. I can always buy more fabric. It's really cool. It's an interesting color. It's like a lot more blue than I thought it would be, but it's really cool. So I'm excited. So this is for Burrow Tales. I bought it so I could have this is Sarah's. This is even weave, 28 count even weave, I'm pretty sure. 28 count Lugana in Sarah's. Bought it so I could have the called for fabric, because I love called for fabrics. I will always choose called for. Let me turn it back towards you. I will always use called for if I can. This is from Forbidden Fiber Co. I got 2 little grab bags. I got them all mixed up. So I got the Lugana. The Lugana grab bag. I got so when you do a grab bag from Forbidden Fiber Co., they do them a couple times a year. You don't really have any choice in color, right? So you can pick the type of fabric, the count of fabric you want, and then it's pretty much just anything that, like, they send you a certain number of them, right? I think these are all 1/4 of a yard. Yeah, so these are all 1/4 of a yard fabrics, which is a good amount of fabric. And the grab bag is like, depending on the type of fabric and the count, like, I don't know, I want to say they were like $40 or something to that effect. I bought 2 of them. So I bought the Lugana and I bought the Ada, which is a pretty good price. So you can buy a 1/4 of a yard for $40 depending on where you're shopping. So to get 3 of them, it's pretty good. Anyways, I'm rambling a little bit. I got this really cool green, which I'm really digging. I really love that. I got this yellow, which is also very pretty. And then I got this like peachy tone. None of these are super mottled. This one is a bit more modeling than the other ones, but none of them are super mottled, which is not abnormal for even weave tends to have a bit more of a consistent dye from what I remember, from what I've been told, I think. Anyways, I got that one. I got the Ada. Also not super mottled, but very pretty. I got this like minty green. I got this blue that's almost white. I got this yellow, and I got this peachy tone. So these are 2 1/4 yards and then an 1/8 of a yard. So it must be, you must get 2 or 3 1/4 yards of fabric for whatever the price is. So those are those. And then I got these for free. These came for free. They came for free. This is the Holly King and Roy G. Biv, which is appropriate considering there's all the colors in that one. All right, very good. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. This is the little like extra goodies that you can buy to go with the Tea Dragon Sal from WorldOnAStringByDara. It's the first time I ever bought anything from her personal website, which was pretty exciting. Very well done. Very easy, very quick. It came with 5 little packets, right? So I haven't opened the other 3 because they are not released yet. The dragons that they correspond with are not released yet. But I got little tea bags, which are always yummy. I love tea. I'm not a huge Earl Grey fan, but it's a cute dragon, so I will forgive. I'm kidding. I'm teasing. I don't like Earl Grey because it tastes like drinking perfume, but I do love tea, and I will drink Earl Grey. This one goes like this. I was fiddling with it yesterday, but this is the chamomile dragon. So these look just like the actual pattern. Obviously, it's not the pattern, but these are little stickers that correspond with a little fun tea bag. I love tea. This is the little needle minder, which is adorable. I love this little dragon. And that came with a matching washi tape. I don't use washi tape a whole bunch anymore, but I think this might be fun and helpful to use as kind of like protecting the edges of some of that Ada that I have when I cut out pattern pieces for the pattern. So there's that. And last but certainly not least, come on, come back. You can probably see me, but I can't see me. There we go. Sorry, I like to be able to see myself so I know something's not wrong. So this is thread conditioner from Craftigurumi. In the past year-ish, I've been using Ponderosa thread gloss. One of my friends from the stitching group that I stitch with let me know about the Ponderosa thread gloss. I like the shape of this really a lot. Really good, I almost said. I like the shape of this tin. I think it's helpful. And I like the smells. But however, my favorite thread gloss smell so far has been Poet's Dream by Ponderosa. I also really like Daydream, which is what I'm using right now. I am not out of it, of the Poets blend, but I'm afraid that I will be, and so I was going to go buy some more, and I realized that Ponderosa doesn't have them on her Etsy shop anymore, or on their Etsy shop anymore, and I don't know if that's just them, like, they need time to restock, or something's going on, or what. I couldn't find any information on it, and so out of panic, I bought floss from another favorite floss, I bought thread gloss from another favorite thread gloss creator, which is Craftigurumi. And I like that they're almost always like fandom themed. And I tend to really like more perfumey scents for thread gloss, or like floral scents. I do not like yummy scents. Like, I don't know why, I just don't like them. And so that's one of the reasons why I like Ponderosa, but that's also one of the reasons why I like Craftigurumi. So I went ahead and bought some of the ones I liked before, like, and I don't know why I'm about to smell this, because I can't really smell a whole bunch right now. But this one is Lost Woods. Smells great. I also, one of the things I do like about this thread gloss is it has no color to it, and I think that it tends to, like, melt a bit better. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see, I've used it before. So I bought these three before, so I went ahead and bought another one of those three. So Limbus Bread, Prancing Pony, Lost Woods, and then I bought these ones, which I don't know that I've ever tried before. I know for sure I haven't tried these two. I may not have tried this one either. So Gandalf's Pipe, Hyrule Field, and Quidditch Pitch. These two are very grassy, which I like. Very grassy, very floral, which I like. So far they've been very, I haven't used them yet, so nice and pristine. But they're just very clean. I don't know. I just don't feel like I should want yummy scents on my fabric. I don't know. I might be making that up in my head. I don't know. I tend to like these two companies because they make nice perfumey scents that I like. She also remembered me, which makes me happy because I haven't bought from her in a bit, but she remembers me. So she sent me little threads, trial size little ones. I'm not going to take them out of the package because I want them to be protected. But she also sent me a little plastic tin thing to put them in, which is really nice. So she said that she picked ones based off of my prior orders, which I think is super sweet of her. So she sent me a Kingdom of Zeal, a Zora's Domain, and a Bookworm, which I think I might have had Bookworm before. I think I've had this one before. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all of my my stash for now. This is, again, the second time I've had to film this, so hopefully it's actually a little bit better. I told you about my 2 new spreadsheets because I'm a geek and a nerd. I've shown you my whips, I've shown you my stash, I've talked about saws, and I think that's all I got for you today. Let me know if you need anything. I'll see you next time. Bye!